Somalia, a land of resilience, struggle, and untold stories. When people hear about this East African nation, they often think of conflict, poverty, and instability. But there's so much more to this country than what's shown in the media. What is life really like in Somalia? What challenges do its people face daily? And how do they continue to survive despite the odds? Here are 15 mind-blowing facts about Somalia that will change the way you see this often misunderstood country. 1. Somalia has one of the longest coastlines in Africa. With over 3,300 kilometers, 2,000 miles, of coastline, Somalia has the longest shore in mainland Africa. Its location along the Indian Ocean and the Gulf of Aden should make it a hub for global trade and tourism. However, due to political instability, much of its coastal potential remains untapped. Despite this, local fishermen depend on these waters for survival. But they face constant challenges, from illegal fishing by foreign vessels to piracy, which once made Somalia infamous worldwide. 2. The country hasn't had a stable government for decades. Since the fall of its central government in 1991, Somalia has experienced ongoing conflict, tribal disputes, and militant insurgencies. The absence of a strong national government led to lawlessness in many areas, making everyday life unpredictable and often dangerous. Although efforts have been made to restore governance, Somalia remains one of the most politically unstable countries in the world. 3. Mogadishu, a city of contrasts. Mogadishu, the capital, is both a war-torn battlefield and a city of resilience. Despite years of violence, Mogadishu has seen new development, with hotels, shopping malls, and even a growing tech scene. But at the same time, attacks by extremist groups like Al-Shabaab continue to threaten peace. For many residents, daily life involves navigating between hope and fear, rebuilding their communities while remaining constantly alert. 4. The nomadic way of life still thrives. Despite modern challenges, over 60% of Somalia's population still follows a nomadic lifestyle, herding camels, goats, and cattle across vast deserts. For centuries, Somali nomads have survived by moving from one region to another in search of water and pasture. However, climate change and frequent droughts have made it harder for nomads to sustain their way of life, forcing many into cities where they struggle to adapt. 5. The economy runs on remittances. With limited formal job opportunities, millions of Somalis depend on money sent from family members living abroad. Remittances make up around 30 to 40% of Somalia's GDP, supporting basic needs like food, housing, and education. While this financial lifeline helps many families survive, it also highlights the lack of a strong domestic economy, leaving Somalia vulnerable to global financial shifts. 6. Somalia faces one of the worst humanitarian crises in the world. Years of war, famine, and climate disasters have left millions in desperate need of food and aid. The United Nations frequently ranks Somalia among the worst countries for humanitarian crises. Malnutrition, lack of clean water, and inadequate healthcare are daily struggles for many families. International aid groups try to help, but ongoing violence makes delivering assistance extremely difficult. 7. Piracy once terrorized the seas, but it's not what you think. Somali pirates once made global headlines for hijacking ships and demanding ransom. But why did piracy explode in the first place? Many former fishermen turned to piracy after foreign vessels illegally fished Somali waters, leaving them without a livelihood. While piracy has largely decreased due to international military intervention, illegal fishing and economic desperation still fuel tensions along the coast. 8. The Somali language has a unique history. Somali is one of the few African languages that was written down only recently, in 1972. Before that, Somali was mostly a spoken language, passed down through generations. Today, poetry is a central part of Somali culture, with oral storytelling playing a major role in preserving history and traditions. 9. Education is a challenge, but progress is being made. Decades of instability have severely damaged Somalia's education system. Many children grow up without formal schooling, as schools are often targeted in attacks. Despite this, new schools and universities are opening, especially in major cities, thanks to private efforts and international organizations. Somalis are incredibly eager to learn, and education remains a key hope for the country's future. 10. The country has one of the harshest climates in the world. Somalia's climate is unforgiving, hot, dry, and prone to frequent droughts. In recent years, climate change has worsened conditions, leading to severe food and water shortages. For nomadic and rural communities, these extreme conditions often mean life or death, forcing mass migrations to cities that are already struggling to support growing populations. 11. Somalia has an impressive diaspora community. Somalis have migrated all over the world, with large communities in the US, UK, Canada, and Sweden. Many Somali immigrants have become successful entrepreneurs, politicians, and professionals, sending money back home to support their families. In recent years, some Somalis from the diaspora have returned, investing in businesses and infrastructure, hoping to rebuild their homeland despite the risks. 12. The Somali shilling has no set value. Somalia is one of the few countries where money is often valued based on trust rather than government backing. The Somali shilling has no official regulation, meaning its worth changes depending on where you are and who you ask. Many people prefer using the US dollar for transactions, as local currency inflation can be unpredictable. 13. Somalia has a strong oral culture. Somalia is often called a nation of poets, because oral storytelling, poetry, and debate are central to its culture. Elders, leaders, and even children participate in poetic expressions that convey history, wisdom, and social messages. This oral tradition has helped preserve Somali identity despite decades of conflict and displacement. 14. Security can change in an instant. In Somalia, the situation on the ground is constantly shifting. A city that is peaceful one day can become a war zone the next. This instability makes it difficult for businesses, humanitarian groups, and even everyday people to plan for the future. Many locals live with the constant uncertainty of what tomorrow might bring. 15. Despite everything, Somalia's people are resilient. One of the most remarkable things about Somalia is the strength of its people. Despite war, famine, and economic struggles, Somalis continue to push forward. They build businesses, educate their children, and dream of a better future. For outsiders, Somalia may seem like a place of endless suffering, but for those who call it home, it is a land of deep culture, history, and unwavering hope. Life in Somalia is far more complex than what most people realize. Yes, the country has suffered immensely, but its people remain strong. Would you ever visit Somalia? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel for more travel and global insights, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Let me know your thoughts or questions in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you.